Hello and a very warm welcome to Power Pack's special episode. Newgen presents AI at Work, powering growth, productivity and inclusion in association with ETCIO. I'm your host Devina Lasson and it's my pleasure to celebrate Women's Day with our guests and viewers today. Now, work culture and habits for men and women are often fundamentally different. It is this difference that impacts collaboration, networking and productivity. So join us on a thought-provoking journey as we discover how AI is reshaping the workplace, breaking down barriers and enabling women to thrive by optimizing workflows, enhancing efficiency, and fostering deeper collaboration. From streamlining tasks to creating more inclusive work environments, AI is redefining how professionals contribute and succeed. So let's kickstart this powerful conversation on the future of work and equity in the AI era and much more. It's my pleasure to welcome our esteemed guest today. Joining us, Runki Goswami, Head Global Marketing Newgen, Radhika Sehgal, Partner and Digital Transformation Leader EY, Shamni Kumar, Senior Director and Business Transformation Leader, and Rajan Nagina, Head Global AI Practice Newgen. Right, a very warm welcome to all of you panelists. Such a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining.
Well, thank you so much for having us here.
Runki, if you'd like to kickstart our conversation by telling us a little bit in your experience with, I think, over 2 decades now in the workforce, how have you seen the role of women in the workforce evolve? Have there been any major factors that you've seen in the expanse of your career that's really shifted the way the women show up in the workforce today?
Well, back then and today, there's been a huge shift, a paradigm shift, if I can put it that way. In those days when I had started, it was more about being a representation. And today it's about shaping industries. So there's been a huge shift. And with the way things have changed, all the policy reforms that have happened, the sponsorships that have come our way, and also the investments that have been made into women-led innovation.
Sure, yes.
So that's kind of changed a lot. If you go back to the data of 2004, it says that 19% of women were just there in leadership roles. Today, that 19% has become 32%.
Wow, fantastic.
And then, in fact, in the CEO category of Fortune 500, it was 0%, then 1%, and now 10%.
Wow,
That's huge, right?
Yes.
And then the women-led own entrepreneurship that women are into, that is trillions of dollars are generated annually. So of course that also talks volumes about where women are today. So this workspace has definitely evolved, and with all the digital transformation things which are happening, which are kind of doing away with manual inefficiencies and all, of course it gives more time for women to get into deep impactful work, get into strategic positions, and of course a hybrid culture that has come into place that has also evolved things strategically for women.
Excellent. I mean, a lot to look forward to, and we're going to deep dive into the tech aspect. But again, before that, Radhika, let's get you in on this. First of all, welcome.
Thank you so much.
All you ladies looking so lovely in your saris.
Thank you. You're looking lovely too.
Thank you. Great representation here on Women's Day. So again, from a strong female leader's perspective, what are some of the cultural shifts that you've observed in the expanse of your career?
So a few of the examples would be government in India has been very proactive. The entire maternity leave, which is at least 6 months, is a huge thing. I'm seeing that corporate are extending that flexibility even after woman comes back.
Right, yes.
Paternity break is a huge step.
Yes.
Breaking the gender biases.
Yes.
There is a lot that is happening in the organization, right from hiring to retention to advancement. And one of the big thing is first that consciousness that yes, we have to accelerate action. We have to reduce this gender parity, and that is what is the key difference that organizations are bringing. And through this conversation, we'll bring about what AI is doing in each of those areas. But what I feel, one thing that any organization does, which is drastically different, is walk the talk.
Yes.
And I can talk about my organization, which is EY. Our global CEO is a woman. Our global technology leader is a woman. I lead technology consulting for financial services from India. I am a woman. And when you're walking the talk, you will see these changes, not just in percentages, but in the leadership positions.
Absolutely.
And that is going to define the future.
So Shamli, again, please love to hear your input as well. We've heard great insights from Runki, Radhika, about how the workplace has really shifted over the years when it comes to women in position of power, women in general in the workforce. Are there any initiatives that you would like to share when it comes to really incorporating women at a level of equality in the workplace? Any good examples from corporate culture that have really panned out in the last few years?
I really want to emphasize is the kind of role, organization and sponsorship and the leadership initiative to be able to make a difference in the diversity. That's coming out very, very precise, because that you are moving to your goal sheet of your leadership as well as your CXOs and all. So that's a moving channel that really will drive a lot of things. And of course, we are seeing a lot of women leaders in the forefront that will also shape, being role models. It really creates that kind of aura or that kind of impact in the organization when people look up to you as role models, and they want to imbibe and get into that,
I love this point of role models, right? And this is so much what this panel here is all about. Rajan, this is an excellent time for you to come in now, because of course we're hearing from these wonderful female leaders what it really means to be a leader, female leader in the workplace today. Before we get into a little more questions in depth from you, what have you seen as shifts in the workplace when it comes to your female co-workers, female in leadership positions? Any insight from you?
The team that I have, the team I work with along with my peers like Runki, and also the team that I have, I felt women generally are more creative than men.
Okay.
Really, really more creative.
Okay.
They're also better multitasking. Like certainly we all sort of see that every day. And if you add the element of one being more creative, more imaginative, one being, let's say, having more empathy. So if you fall back on first principles of human nature, and then you add it with cognition that AI provides, it's just wonderful. And I see it unfolding in front of my eyes. Most of my team consist of like super intelligent girls. And the way we construct a problem, for example, let's say we build a software. At the end, we build a software for a user and for a purpose, right? Getting empathy for the user is not a technical construct.
Yes.
It's a very fundamental construct of a person, right? And when you get cognition like AI to help you with, imagine what you can do. Like the systems that you can build are far more superior. Let me take example of ChatGPT, right? It's such wonderful thing, right? And where the empathy comes for ChatGPT, if you ask a question, the system tries to figure out the intent of the question, right? You can ask really abstract question. And I think this figuring out the intent of a question is really first principle, like empathy, isn't it?
Wonderful. Thank you for such a unique perspective, actually, coming from someone like yourself, an AI leader. So can you help us also get a wider picture now, how you're really seeing AI empowering the workforce, female workforce, but the workforce in general? There's also a big term now, agentic AI. I think that's one of the big trends. I think no one better than you to give us a little bit of a debrief on how that ultimately is the way forward in workforce efficiency.
Sure. So I think if you start with agentic first, agentic essentially means building a software that is human-like both human-like intelligence and human-like behavior. So if you build a system that you can converse to, if you can build a system that you can reason with, that's human-like, isn't it? Also, if you can build a system that understands the context and make a decision for you, at least make an attempt to make a decision for you, make an attempt to work for you. So by and large, if you look at the agentic construct, means have a human-like intelligence, have a human-like reasoning, and have a human-like decision making, and then go on and execute. Today, we have come to a place where cognition is available. On top of that, you can build software like that. And that means you can empower your users, your workforce, to create more time using this software, but more importantly, to imagine more.
How do you see AI companions impacting you directly today or impacting your workforce? Any examples would be great, Radhika.
Sure. So I completely agree with Rajan that there is a lot that's happening in improving productivity at workplace. The other side of the paradigm from an AI standpoint is how organizations are leveraging now AI end to end.
Yes.
If we have to hire a woman, or we have to reduce the gender diversity biases and unconscious biases, how can AI help you? It has been figured out that there are a lot of job descriptions which are very, very gendered, because of which women do not apply for it.
Right.
As well as if there is a human at the center, unconsciously they are picking up male CVs. So when you have higher view kind of a tool which is removing and eradicating any of these biases, we have seen 50% reduction in gender bias related hiring gaps. Retention, we talked about productivity, but workforce and work culture, there are tools which are specialized like Harmonize, like Replica, which are HR bots, which are looking at culture of an organization, anonymous feedbacks of an organization. That is helping from a retention standpoint. So if there is an intent that an organization has to accelerate action, there is enough and more that AI is providing you with.
Really end to end, right? Across the board.
Across the board.
And me being a marketer, I have to be creative. I cannot be doing the same thing again and again. There are ways in which we take several things to the market. So how do we brainstorm? So this Ziva, this tool that we are working on is really helping me on that. It has definitely helped my productive hours. It has helped me communicate better. It has helped my team get better visibility.
Rumki, yeah, I'd love to get you in here. And of course, as you and Rajan are both leaders at Newgen, and as he indicated, there are tools that you're also using in-house. Probably you've used it yourself, so maybe a little bit of your experience there. Do you really see that workplace transformation that's ultimately really what we're talking about today? Do you really see that being enabled thanks to your current experiences using AI companions?
There's this AI companion, and I have been in that testing phase, and I've been working very closely with this team. There was a discussion happening with a senior female leader in our organization who, in spite of being a big meticulous planner, she was juggling, strategic, taking how to handle leadership or to take decisions or, work on high impact work vis-a-vis the unspoken expectations which are always there. So how do you think? And that was a time when we were like, we have to go beyond traditional tools, productivity tools. How do we bring in AI into the realm of work, infuse it with our current systems and see how we can prioritize tasks, communicate better? Because this tool or this thing that you're talking about, we've internally named it Ziva. It all depends on Rajan what he names it later, but we're calling it Ziva. It's like giving us some kind of a life over there. So it's really interesting. So what it does, it not only helps us to optimize our work days, but it also helps us communicate better. It helps us prioritize our tasks. It actually tells us, these are the things which you've been working on for so many number of hours, for these many number of days. So this is what has actually happened now, but you can leave it aside. Take on the other task. This is what is pending. And the way it compiles everything in the blog format or a communication way, it communicates it to the entire team. I can just send out notes anywhere and everywhere to whoever I want to do. So that thing, it leaves me with a lot of productive time. I actually am getting time to sit with my team, to brainstorm on other things. And me being a marketer, I have to be creative. I cannot be doing the same thing again and again. There are ways in which we take several things to the market. So how do we brainstorm? So this Ziva, this tool that we are working on is really helping me on that. It has definitely helped my productive hours. It has helped me communicate better. It has helped my team get better visibility. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Ziva.
Exciting. Wow. I mean, that is quite a transformation right there. Rajani, maybe a little bit of your inspiration behind creating a tool like this. And how does this ultimately really align with an AI transformation that I think most organizations are going through today? So what was your vision? How did you get the inspiration behind it?
I think fundamentally inspiration lies on only trying to solve two fundamental things. One is time. Can you create more time? And second is visibility. Can you create more visibility fundamentally to inspire more? As Radhika spoke about recency bias, right? During the promotion time, girls may not be able to go out as much as boys, and hence may not be able to promote themselves as much as needed, even if they may have worked as much or more. How do you eliminate the recency bias, and how do you create more time? That's the two pillars of Jiva that we are building. And the way it looks at is essentially a work companion that looks at all the work touch points that you have. For example, Slack is one of the work touch point. Email is certainly one of the work touch point. Your calls that happen, let's say on Zoom or on Teams or on Google Meet, wherever, it's a touch point. The offline meetings that you do is a touch point. All of this creates enough information about you and about the work you're doing. Now, Jiva sort of looks at all this, and then as I say, human-like software, you can talk to Jiva. And Jiva sort of tries to understand what you're trying to ask for and solves for you if possible. If not, then at least make an attempt to solve for you. The other is essentially celebrating your work in a way that you can say, oh, can you create me a story on the work that I have done last week? Like, really, can you write something about my style of working? I have just solved this very complex technology problem, and you have looked at it. You have also know my Confluence page. You also know what things I have worked on. Can you create a small artifact out of it? These artifacts are not just there to sort of remove the recency bias, but more often than not, to create more deeper collaboration, because we get inspired by others, isn't it? I mean, if you look at, oh, what awesome work, you certainly get inspired by other people. It's just that there aren't many places where, like, we look up to really, really senior people, but not our peers, who more often than not does more inspiring work than anybody else. As Runke said, it's the initial sort of the rolling out. We're doing a beta testing, but our initial users are like really super happy. Sometimes Jiva also hallucinates, but I think being so wonderful sees it's sort of we are sort of letting it go for the moment. But as time progresses, it's going to be like work companion is a reality, whether it comes from like wherever you simply cognition and the companionship is a reality, and I think we sort of very, very focused and invested in this.
So, ladies, we're talking so much, of course, about the integration of AI and how it's going to elevate us on many fronts. Shamli, how do you see businesses approaching, again, on a cultural level, this aspect of really integrating AI in everything that you do? Because surely this is a cultural shift we're going through right now at the moment. So how can businesses really ensure that they are future ready to embrace AI and everything it has to offer, from platforms like Ziva to all the other tools out there? How can businesses ensure that they are ready to take all of this innovation and transformation that we are going through right now?
So for the enterprise and for the business, I think AI has to be core to the business. I think that's the fundamental. No second thoughts about it, because if you're not doing it, you're going to be left behind. So which means that you have to augment that core of AI along with a human-centric approach. I think that would be the most ideal way, because you spoke about empathizing, understanding, collaboration, all of that go hand in hand. So which means you will have to integrate AI in a very seamless manner across your core business functions. Along with it, there are some aspects of networking that culturally you would change in terms of having a peer group, network peer group, I would say. And of course, within the industry, you look at a more focused approach of having some STEM focused aspects that you can bring in. For example, women-led technology interventions that you would do to enable more women in cybersecurity as a space, in consulting. We haven't seen too much of women get in, right? So those are the areas that you can emphasize and have a cultural shift, consciously taking into direction of those themes that you would want to do.
Wonderful. And so on the flip side, if organizations are not yet ready and not yet geared up to embrace AI and all that it has to offer today, what are some of the opportunities you think that an organization, this is ladies for all of you, what are some of the opportunities that the business stands to lose as a result of not yet being tech-enabled, AI-enabled?
Businesses and the business models are completely getting disrupted like never before. And if we don't disrupt ourselves, somebody else will. So right from how you're looking at customers who need hyper personalized data, here and now services, and a lot of this can be achieved only through automations powered by AI and Gen AI, to how you are optimizing your entire workflow, to how you are giving internal satisfaction to your employees, to how you're giving the throughput. All of that together will be a very important element to look at. And if we are not doing, somebody else is coming and disrupting us.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Rumki?
Well, if an organization really wants AI to be productive, one thing I feel is that they have to stop treating AIs in silo. They have to embed it in their work. workplace or workflows. It cannot be just that's one tool over there, or it's just like an afterthought. It doesn't work like that. So AI has to be a part of the workflows over there. The company has to, or the organization rather, has to work on use cases, such as high impact work, identify the high impact use cases, which will actually do away with inefficiencies. The companies have to make themselves data ready, because AI is as good as the data can get. And then, of course, the human AI intervention, or the human AI orchestration that happens. So what happens is that if you're working on all these three elements, and if you've made AI your integral thing, it's AI native now, then it's actually you see things changing. Otherwise, just in a silo environment where it's just an afterthought, I don't think it's going to help. So AI has huge potential. It is for all of us to make it our DNA, to be involved in it, to be able to utilize it better. My only thing is that it has to be a part of our inherent systems now.
If I can request each of you to leave our viewers today with one key takeaway on what you think is the biggest AI transformation that the workplace is seeing. I know it's a very challenging question, but just one key takeaway for our audience. Runki, would you like to start?
Well, it's simple. Just upskill. Just adapt to the changes. If there is AI for you, use it. I would request all my peers, the women peers, do not run away from anything which is new, technology that is. Just adapt to it, use it. It has got immense potential. Just let's embrace the changes which are coming. And that's what is going to do good for us. And that's a simple takeaway. Let's embrace the change.
Wonderful. Thank you. Radhika?
So from an enterprise standpoint, we just discussed, we have all the tools and techniques. We just now need an intent to make this a reality, working on removing ethical biases in the data, removing the hallucinations which come with doing an AI, making sure that you are complying to all regulators when you are doing all of what AI is bringing to the forefront will be very, very important, and keep that in your forefront when you are evolving and you are completely redefining how the workplace is going to be.
Wonderful. Wow, very practical there. Thank you so much, Shamli.
From my perspective, I would say it's, leverage AI as an enabler and for building on innovation. I think those are the two thoughts I have. And of course, it's new technology. So, have an open mind, embrace AI. That's what it's all about. And you will see the benefits, for yourself as for your organization.
And I think Radhika put it very succinctly that if everybody is using it, there's a tremendous amount of value create because everybody is using it. Somebody is using it for very, very complex problems. Somebody is using it for not so complex problems. I think embracing it at a scale and sort of reimagining everything that you have been doing, and then just go ahead and solving it with AI.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have all your insights today. What an in-depth conversation.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you so much for having us on the panel.
Thank you.
Absolutely a pleasure.
All right, as we celebrate Women's Day, it's clear that AI is not just transforming the way we work, it's shaping a more inclusive, efficient, and empowered future by streamlining workflows, enhancing productivity, and redefining collaboration, and so much more. Thank you for joining us on Newgen Presents AI at Work, powering growth, productivity, and inclusion in association with ETCIO. Until next time, let's continue driving progress, innovation, and inclusion together.